see everyone. Good to be here, and especially at the hard-fought win on Saturday against a good football team. And then now we have to turn around and do it all over. Another very good football team on the horizon with the University of Northern Iowa Panthers. Again, know they're going to be unbelievably well coached. They're going to be physical, very similar to the recipe or the equation that we try to utilize to win games, and defensive thought process. Just with their head football coach, Coach Farley does a tremendous job on that side of the ball with their defensive staff, and their new quarterback. They've changed quarterback, and I think he provides them a little bit of consistency at that position. And so we're going to have our work cut out for us on both sides of the football. And then special teams, they always have great returners back there, and so we'll have to be at our best to be able to compete against the Panthers. With that, I'll open it up for questions.
After watching the film, evaluating the game, kind of what do you take away now 2 days later just from your team's performance?
I wish we would have been a little more efficient offensively. During the course of the game, we had 10 explosive plays, majority of them on the ground, and we were inside the 50-yard line of our opponent 5 to 6 different times. The frustrating part of it comes down, you come away with 3 field goals, and the defensive side of me or the D coordinator side of me would say field goals get you beat. Well, this is one of those one-time situations where they won us the ball game and that we were able to convert. Riney did a great job, but man, if we could have got 1 or 2 of those into the end zone, shoulda, coulda, woulda. Ifs and buts were candy and nuts. Every day'd be Christmas, I guess. But those are things that we can continue to work on. Perfect.
I would be worried that I would mess that up, that I would commit to it. And then.
To that end on offensive efficiency, you got 15 catches in 4 games between Watson, Babich, and Gindorf. Do you need to get your playmakers the ball on the outside more? I mean, do you feel like that's a need?
I think it's always something that we want to do more often if we can and if we need to during situations. This was a tight game, of course. If we could have completed a couple things on the perimeter, would it have changed maybe the dynamics of our run game? Of course. And so we got to continue to work on that. I think trying to continue to establish a quick game within our passing game is going to be critical. And then continue to get back using some of our nakeds and move in the pocket, some things that Quincy does well.
You guys playing in that hostile environment, for the first game of conference play, kind of how important do you think was that to get your guys kind of baptized by fire there?
Well, I think anytime you get to play in a venue that's packed, that's a positive. That's good for college football. It doesn't matter if it's for North Dakota State or whomever. I think when you have fans, two fan bases that are extremely proud of their universities, that's fun. I don't know if I'm sure as we move forward through the year, if we're on the road somewhere and there's another big crowd, I don't know if we play in another dome scenario. Maybe we do late in the year against South Dakota. I couldn't even tell you. That's so far ahead. I'm worried about one game right now. And so I think it was good for us. We started some of the process the week before going to an unknown Towson. We started the game using a vocal cadence, and it took us until the second series to get kind of into our silent cadence, and I thought we cleaned it up from there. I don't know if we had any false starts or anything like that until after that first series, and so I thought it was good. The unique thing was the home team had more false starts than the opponent did, so I think the noise played probably had equal effect on both teams.
Seen around the valley so far, do you feel like this is indicative of the fight that you guys are in for, just the competitiveness throughout the valley and what you see coming each and every week here?
Oh, I think so. I think this was a good example of well-coached football teams within the league. I still think there's a emphasis on defense in the Missouri Valley, and I think you're going to see some physical contest as we move forward. But, right now we're just going to worry about Northern Iowa. But I anticipate, it's like that every year. I'm not going to say this year's going to be any more difficult than last year or 2 years ago or 3 years ago, because I would be just, making a disservice to the guys who have played in this league.
Talk about UNI then. How do they kind of compare and shape up in terms of what you expect of a Northern Iowa football team?
Real physical up front. I think their linebackers and defensive line are maybe the best group of front seven that you might see in the league. Very athletic in the back end. You talk about Benny Sapp. You talk about Omar Brown. Really good football players. Evans, the other corner, number 27. I think you saw Iowa State try to go his direction, and he really, I thought, played well in that game. Offensive line, big. They got a big group of kids. They got the brothers from Mason City right there in north central Iowa, really good physical players. And you can see that they have made an emphasis to get back to the run game, and they've done a really good job with some of their outside zone, their stretch stuff, and they have some explosive players that can complement that. Isaiah Weston at the wide receiver. So they're gonna do the same thing we try to do, and that make you defend all 53 and a third yards. And so it's gonna be a really good challenge.
Different with Theo Day at quarterback rather than McElvain?
It looked like there's a little more efficient. I think he does a great job of really riding deep into the pocket, the RPO game that they have, which forces your conflicted players. Are they in the fit? Are they out of the fit to make a decision? I think he does move well. He can extend plays. He can scramble. I think they can still utilize him in some run game. I just think he's a really solid football player.
Any injury updates? I know Jalen went out, Braden and Dom went out. He did come back in, but any health updates on the guys?
I haven't had. I know Dom was in lifting this morning. Didn't seem to be. I just was cruising through real quick. Didn't seem to have any ill effects from the game. I think that was more just from my conversation with him on the field, more of a scare than anything. And once he felt that things were okay, he was jumping back on his feet and ready to go. Still waiting. I'll get back and hopefully get some updates on the other two.
Do you think that for Northern Iowa, is this an example of using the portal the way you can with getting a transfer running back, a transfer quarterback, and can come in and help you right away? Look for college football in this division now?
I don't know if it's the new look. I don't want to, go that far, but I think I'd anticipate Coach Farley saying the portal's here. Either you try to stick your head in the sand and say it doesn't exist, or you find ways to utilize it to help your program. And I'm guessing it's the latter, knowing him, that if I can't fight it and win, then make sure that it can help us. And so to be able to go find like I said, a running back and a quarterback that can continue to help you, kudos to them. I mean, you got to find the right people still.
A few new quarterbacks in the league using the transfer process. Is there a lot of quarterbacks out there looking to transfer? I mean, only one guy can play, right?
You're exactly right. I think the bigger picture that you look at is most schools only scholarship one quarterback, but you can only play one. So you end up having 4 or 5 on your roster. Well, everyone wants to play. It's the most selective of positions that people recruit. You talk about scholarship quarterbacks in the Midwest, there's only probably 30. By the time you add up Big Ten, D2, and FCS football, but there's probably 1,000 high school quarterbacks out there. So there's not very many that actually become scholarship starters at the collegiate level. So I think you've seen the surplus has created, kids want to play. Competitiveness comes out. I know sometimes we want to say it's selfishness, but at the same time, these guys want to play and find situations that are good for them, or maybe where there's a clearer path to getting on the field.
Matt, describe Brinkman and what kind of disruptor he is up front, what kind of player he is.
Well, he's compact, very physical, strong. Coach Pop does a great job with him. They utilize him. They put him at a zero nose. He plays 3 technique. He gets knocked back. There's a reason why he was defensive player of the spring in our league, and he continues to impress 4 games into the season. All that. I still like to always, being an Iowa guy myself, his success in wrestling. He has understanding of such a great leverage and just playing with such good pad level. And then, he's just continued to get better over the course of his career.
Percentage you could put on the number of guys who've been recruited by both schools that you know of between these rosters?
A lot. I know that's not, very good number for you, but I'll put it at that.
After looking over the film, your initial reactions on how well Westberg played at center?
I thought he played really well. We're going to recognize him today as one of our player of the games of our offensive line. I thought he did a really good job. Got thrown into a solid venue, a big game. It was the only one we had on the schedule that week, and but that's what he's been waiting for. And he was unbelievably excited after the game about just being able to help the Bison and help us get a win on Saturday.